Howdy kids, it's me Bob Harris, footballdiehards.com. It's week 15, crunch time for those of us in the playoffs. Crunch time for those of us in DFS play, maybe out of our season-long leagues. Either way, it's time for our Saturday injury update, review, preview, overview, get you up to speed view thing. We have a Saturday game this week, so I'll touch on that first. The Miami Dolphins at New York Jets. Ryan Tannehill is out for this game. Matt Moore will start in his place. Should be a J.J. heavy game plan. Moore is a bit of a gunslinger, though. Hasn't played for a while, but not afraid to throw the ball downfield. Be interesting. Other side of the ball, Matt Forte is listed as questionable. Has what he says is a torn meniscus. Left early last week, allowing Bilal Powell to have a big game. And a lot of people on Powell this week. It's not the same matchup, but he's been a very good player. So obviously a good play if there is no Forte. Maybe still a good play even if there is a Forte. So you'll want to watch that. And Brandon Marshall, Quincy Enunwa, Brandon Bostic, the tight end, all listed as questionable. Marshall says he'll be on a pitch count, and I would expect him to play. Robbie Anderson's kind of making a bit of a charge there with Bryce Petty, quarterback either way. So that's Saturday night. That brings us up to the elephant in the room, the Adrian Peterson-sized elephant. Peterson proclaimed on Friday that he's ready to play. The Vikings activated him today, Saturday, so he is available. Look, I get it. You want to play him. I'm not as eager to. I'll just go ahead and lay out a few things. He was hurt September 18th. He himself says this should be a 4 to 5 month recovery from his torn meniscus repair. It has not been that long. He was not running that well before the injury. 1.6 yards a carry behind a lousy offensive line that in the time since has gotten lousier, or certainly depleted further by injury. In addition, there's a different offensive coordinator. I'm sure they're calling the same basic scheme that Norv Turner had under Pat Shurmur, but there are changes. So, look, I'm not eager to get him in lineups. I can see why you might be. He is Adrian Peterson. He is Superman and all that kind of stuff. So, he's going to play. Play him if you want. I'm not. Depending on options, right? I mean, look, this one's on you, not on me. Otherwise, Matt Asiata is listed as questionable. Came down with an illness, also had an ankle injury. Maybe that will further fuel your Peterson lust if you have such. So feel free again. Beyond that, Laquan Treadwell has been ruled out with an ankle injury. Stephon Diggs, Sam Bradford both had issues. Knee for Diggs, shoulder for Bradford, both off the injury report. The other side of the ball, Philip Dorsett's questionable with a groin injury. Dwayne Allen is questionable with a hip injury. Their presence will be key because there is no Dante Moncrief. He's ruled out with a hamstring injury. It's a tough game for Andrew Luck. He's been sacked, 40 years? The Colts have given up 40 sacks. Vikings have 35 sacks. ESPN is saying this is the 35th offensive line combination that will start for the Colts this week. So that's been rough. T.Y. Hilton will draw Xavier Rhodes. So, pretty tough matchup. They need all the bodies they can get. We'll see if they get them. The other big injury issue heading into Sunday morning, of course, is Aaron Rodgers has the calf issue. Don't know that he practiced yet on Saturday. They haven't announced that yet. Sounds like he probably wasn't going to. They don't care. They're probably going to play him. He's listed as questionable. It's going to be very cold there. Sub-zero temperatures. That's always a concern with muscle injuries. But I suspect Rodgers will play. I wouldn't put it past him to play well, or me to speak well. Otherwise, you'll need to watch that heading into the game. Otherwise, for the Packers, Christian Michael's questionable, had an illness. James Starks is ruled out. Well, he's doubtful, but he's not going to play. Had a concussion, car accident. This leaves Ty Montgomery in a good spot. They've officially moved him to running back. Mike McCarthy says he can handle 20-plus carries. Maybe he'll get them. Remember, Michael blew some assignments last week. I think that's a concern for them, especially with Rodgers. It's something less than full speed. You don't want him to have to make a quick reaction based on Kristen Michael screw-up. So we'll see about that. I think and Aaron Rukowski also questionable. Randall Cobb questionable with an ankle injury. Expect both of them to play as well. But Montgomery's the guy to watch, I think, in the running game anyhow. On the other side of the ball, Marquise Wilson broke a bone in his foot again. This is the third time he's done for the year. Eddie Royal's been ruled out with his foot injury. Alshon Jeffrey returns. This is his first time playing with Matt Barkley. I'll remind you, Alshon Jeffrey has one touchdown all year prior to going on suspension, so he hadn't been all we expected. He'll work with Cam Meredith and Josh Bellamy at the position. It's going to be cold, but that won't keep people from throwing, so play him if you got him or if you want to or if your options demand it. He'll be on the field. For the Detroit Lions going into New York, Matt Stafford will play with his finger. He's off the injury report. He will be wearing a glove. The weather will be wet. I think this is going to be a tough game. Tough Giants defense, right? We saw it last week against Dallas. That secondary is really coming together for them. So Eric Ebron listed as questionable. I expect he'll play. He might be vital. Maybe the short passes or something that Stafford will fall back on with the finger. For the rushing attack, Theo Riddick listed as doubtful. Looks like he'll miss his second straight game. So Dwayne Washington, not on the injury report. Looks like he'll get a big workload. Zach Zenner coming off a concussion. Don't know that he's been officially cleared, but he was practicing as the week progressed. On the other side of the ball, Shane Vereen has been cleared according to ESPN.com this morning from the concussion protocol, so it looks like he'll be good to go. He is officially listed as questionable, so you'll need to watch that. For the Buffalo Bills, great matchup, right? A lot of snow in the stadium. They're offering people $10 an hour to come shovel out the stadium. They've done this before. Sammy Watkins listed as questionable with the foot. We've seen that before. Charles Clay questionable with the knee. Also we've seen before. Both sat out Wednesday. Days of maintenance. Expect them to play as usual in this one. And again, it's a really great matchup for the Buffalo Bills. So LaShawn McCoy included. And Mike Gillislee for that matter. For the Philadelphia Eagles going into Baltimore, Darren Sproles has been ruled out. Wendell Smallwood was placed on IR earlier this week, so that leaves Ryan Matthews as the lead back. Kenyon Barner will play the Darren Sproles role. Sproles got concussed last week, in case you missed that. Beyond that, Jordan Matthews listed as questionable with the ankle. He practiced fully Friday. I expect him to play. Dorial Green-Beckham listed as questionable with the same abdominal issue that sidelined him last week. He practiced fully all week. I expect him to play. Brent Selleck listed as questionable with a stinger. Practice fully, would expect him to play. Don't know what I expect out of any of those guys. It should be easier to pass than run, though, against that tough Baltimore run defense. For the Ravens, Crockett Gilmore is listed as questionable. He hasn't played for 6 weeks. He's kind of become fantasy irrelevant. For the Houston Texans, a more relevant tight end, C.J. Fedorowicz, has been ruled out against the Jaguars. He had a concussion. Tyler Ervin is questionable. Maybe he'll return. He's mostly become a return man as a rookie. Beyond that, DeAndre Hopkins taken off the injury report late in the week. Had a hamstring issue. Same with Lamar Miller. Same ankle and ribs. Expect a Lamar Miller heavy approach in this one like we saw last time against Jacksonville. For Jags, Denard Robinson's been ruled out. Alan Hearns has been ruled out. As expected, Chris Ivory came off the injury report, so that's good news. For the Cincinnati Bengals, A.J. Green listed as doubtful. Brett McHenry reported that on Friday afternoon that he'll still test it, but that the Bengals aren't optimistic. Of course they're not optimistic. They listed him as doubtful. Okay, so don't get your hopes up there, people. Darius Hayward-Bay out for the Steelers with a foot injury. D'Angelo Williams off the injury report, so expect him to back up Le'Veon Bell, and expect Le'Veon Bell not to need much backing up. We've seen how that goes. The late afternoon kickoffs. I guess it's good news. Julio Jones, we won't have to wait around and see what's happening. He has been ruled out. It's a great matchup for everybody else there in Atlanta. Devonta Freeman, Matt Ryan, Tevin Coleman, Taylor Gabriel, Aldrick Robinson, Justin Hardy. Mohamed Sanu returns this week from his injury, so he's off the injury report. So, look, I'm playing those guys if I got them. It's, again, San Francisco's defense not good at stopping other teams. On the other side of the ball, Torrey Smith ruled out with a concussion. Vance McDonald placed on IR earlier this week. So the other seller, Garrett will get a chance to do his thing. And look, Atlanta's defense isn't all that great either. They had a big scoring week last week, but maybe Carlos Hyde can make a little hay in this one. For the San Diego Chargers, Melvin Gordon's been ruled out. Kenneth Farrow is going to start. I've laid this out in a number of articles. He looks like a good play to me. He's a good runner. Haven't seen him much as a receiver, and he's not great at pass protection. Ronnie Hillman will be chipping in. You wonder if the game flow gets out of hand, and Phillip Rivers is throwing a lot, if that might not limit Farrow's playing time. But he is a very viable option as a starting running back in a pretty good matchup. So on the other side of the ball, Amari Cooper, shoulder questionable. Michael Crabtree, finger questionable. This has been the Raiders' MO for more than a month now. Guys are limited all week. They list them as questionable, and then they play. There's no reason to believe this is any different this week. So expect both of them to go. For the Arizona Cardinals, John Brown with the sickle cell trait issues he's been dealing with, questionable once again, limited in practice this week. Jermaine Gresham, who kind of has worked his way into the streaming tight end conversation and has a good matchup against the Saints, is also questionable. So it's late afternoon kickoff. You need to check and make sure he's going before you roll with him. He's been getting a lot of targets. So other side of the ball, Mark Ingram off the injury report, Michael Thomas off the injury report. Both appear to be fully healthy, worked fully on Friday. For the New England Patriots going into Denver, Martellus Bennett listed as questionable with the same ankle and shoulder issues he's been playing through. He'll continue to play through those, is my guess. Danny Amendola ruled out. The team picked up Michael Floyd, who was released by Arizona following a Monday DUI arrest. They're taking him to Denver. Don't know if he'll play. Don't know if I'd be interested even if he does, first weekend. Sunday night, Des Bryant listed as questionable. Officially, unofficially, good to go. I would expect him to play. He's been through this issue before. It's sore back. Practiced fully on Friday, so no real concerns. Monday nights got interesting, though. Cam Newton and Calvin Benjamin both listed as questionable. Newton had an MRI on his throwing shoulder earlier this week. Didn't throw Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Practiced fully Saturday, though, and as did Benjamin. Ron Rivera says he's good to go, but listed him as questionable, so thank you, Coach. Luke Kuechly in the same boat there. Practice fully listed as questionable. Monday night game, if you have a better fallback option, his name is probably Kirk Cousins, and you're probably playing him already. So as for Benjamin, could be a tough game. He'd be going likely up against Josh Norman a lot, so not sure how you were to get him in. Jordan Reed still dealing with the shoulder injury. Don't have their final injury report in. My guess is that even if he's questionable, he'll play. The question is whether he'll be a decoy or not. He's been doing more physical work in practice this week than he did last week, so that could be a clue that maybe he's ready to ramp it up a little bit. It's a good matchup for all the Redskins, for Kirk Cousins and all his targets. So that's it for the injury update. Be sure to check the main page of the site. I'll have news going up all day today and tomorrow through all the kickoffs, get you all the inactives, etc., etc. You can tune into the SiriusXM Fantasy Football pregame show with me and Jeff Mans tomorrow morning. Go to the site. Lots of good articles, lots of good content going up all day, and has been all week. So good luck this week. Those of you in playoffs, kick some ass.